ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramkrishnan Subramanian. People call me Ramki, partner at CFO Bridge. I'm here to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava. Akhilesh Bhargava is an MBA from Mumbai University and an alumnus of INSEAD Paris. He is currently enrolled in the OPM program at Harvard. He is an investor, mentor, advisor, and a friend to over 10 startup entrepreneurs working in waste, social impact, and organic lifestyle companies. He has over 25 years of experience as an entrepreneur, spearheading AVI Global Plast, a leading brand in recycled rPET packaging of consumer goods, food, fruits and vegetables, garments, and industrial goods. Akhilesh loves manufacturing, packaging, recycling, plastic pollution, and working with entrepreneurs in diverse industries. Akhilesh is also a director at Date with Ocean Foundation, which is taking ground action on reducing marine litter and behavior change of citizens. As an environment, ocean lover, and entrepreneur, he has been working alongside Champion of the Earth recipient Afroz Shah on the ground and involved in cleaning ocean-borne plastic, foreign-based plastic, and from other eco-sensitive zones. He is passionate about reducing plastic pollution, building a legacy which will inspire other entrepreneurs and packaging companies. With that, I welcome Akhilesh. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can put your hands for Akhilesh, please.
Thanks, Ramki. Sorry, that was loud. So, Srini, as you know, I was hearing your journey. It was like sounding like it's so much of my company. I think ever since I made up my mind that I need to break up. I need to get into understanding how finance works and how to see numbers on a regular monthly P&L basis. I think that's how I started my journey, and it's so admirable to see how CFO Bridge has evolved over the years. So I'm going to, when Srini reached out to me and he said that, why don't you talk? I was wondering, like, what is that I could talk? It's like everybody's journey, probably every entrepreneur who's gone through ups and downs, etc. But probably what I tried to do this time is something different. I said that let me try and share a journey where I will share my failures, and more importantly, some of those failures that when I was taking decisions which led me to failure, what was that emotional state of mind I was in and which led me to those decisions. And I started my consciousness journey 2 years back, and which gave me that opportunity to actually reflect back to all my failures and try and see, what was my conditioning from my early childhood days, and what happened over the period of years and how it led me to take decisions where I failed. So I thought that why not try and break that up. It's the first time I'm trying, talking about this on a forum. I talk about this otherwise very, very openly. But I said that maybe that's something which may be a little different. Maybe it may help someone, or maybe just some learnings for me as well. So I'm as a person, I'm an extremely impulsive person. I can be in a in a happy, exuberant moment, or I can be in a moment where I'm in a hurry to do something, or I'm driven by a fear, or I'm driven by some kind of eagerness to make a quick buck, and then I end up taking those decisions which have had impact. So I'll probably start from a little in my early childhood days, where I'll take it back to when I was just in grade 5. I came third in our school. When you come in the first, second, third, you're able to go up on the stage. Now that was the only time I went up on stage in my life. Whereas I was looking at my sister who used to go up every year 5 times. So I was like, shit, man. And then I was so thrilled. I was like, now I have made it. So in that whole excitement of like, the final exams are there, I get the third rank, I go on the stage, My mom came and she's like clapping, etc. and shabashi mili. Grade 6, Marathi, failed. And I was like, now looking back, I can say all this. And I was like, I was all over the place. I was like, now success is just going to come. I don't need to work for success. Like that is what, at that time, I was thinking. And I went so easy, I didn't care. Like Marathi was not something which didn't come easy to me. And I didn't care to study for it. I thought, pass to ho hi jayenge. That continued, and that kind of hit me very badly at that point of time. And I'm just reflecting back and I'm sharing my reflections. And I look back and I realized that, it kind of started getting me feel very conscious about how suddenly people started saying, "Arey yaar, ye to fail ho gaya." I didn't want to, I just wanted to hide at that point of time from a lot of people. But it started getting me, I just started feeling very intimidated. I used to feel all the time people are thinking about me and they are going to look at me and laugh. And they are going to be like, ye dekho failure hai. I stopped meeting people eye to eye. But I was a very happy-go-lucky child. I had a happy family. So I used to just go play. But, I was, suddenly when there would be someone who's smarter in the room, koi class mein first aata hai, someone who's anything better than me, I used to start feeling intimidated. So I started, in a way, cocooning myself. Because then, and also because I was becoming like that, people started, my peers, my friends started bullying me. So I went through that whole series of being bullied for a certain number of years. What that made me do was, I started emotionally getting numb. I said, let me cocoon myself. I'm not going to care about what people talk about me. I'm just going to be me and I don't care. But I will prove myself at some point of time. Effectively, what happened was, in this bargain, I was like, I used to hear from one year and it would go out of the other year. So I lived a great life for a lot of years because it didn't matter what people spoke about me, right? I was just my own Raja. But where I had to be also sensitive, I stopped being sensitive. Where I had to say a no to some things, to people, to my own kids, to people in family, I just didn't say a no. I was like, everything goes, and I had stopped even seeing because I was numb. The other thing what happened was that as I started, wanting to come back, that whole, wanting that need to prove myself, need for acknowledgement from people, need for just getting recognized, started becoming the center of me taking a lot of life choices. I'll share my other failures and that will come forward there. So going forward, I was like, I finished my education. I was just always a very average student. I did my MBA from MET. And that time around, we were seeing Reliance grow. So this was like going back to 1997. And I was like, I wanted to see, Dhirubhai Ambani was super inspiring to a lot of us here at that time and maybe even today. But I was like, okay, we have to do something big, chota nahi karna hai. And when it became ki chota nahi karna hai, but where it was being driven by, there is a need to prove. There is a need for acknowledgement. मेरे को दिखा देना है लोगों को. So I started trying करके दिखा दूंगा. So, but then one thing good happened was I told myself that why not just do something at your own business and कुछ करके दिखाओ फिर आगे. So just by the scale, because it was listed 100 crores of business, so I got obsessed with the fact कि 100 crores, because that time 100 crores was like, अरे देखो यार इसका 100 crore का business है. So I was like, अभी मेरे को 100 crore का business बनाना है. And then I said, हाँ ठीक है कर लेते हैं. And वो जुनून आ गया. Like 2010, fast forward, we were a 100 crore company. In the journey, I was like still wanting to experiment. Again, no clarity on purpose, but driven by the emotions which I was sharing about. So I invested in Fire and Ice nightclub. Just out of random, like doing, just because if you are invested in a nightclub and you go to a party, people will just say, wow, ये देख nightclub में invest किया हुआ है. So that was my purpose. In 2005, I was like, so somehow, I mean, maybe being from an entrepreneur's family, risk came naturally to me, but I never questioned why I wanted to, what I wanted to do. In 2005, I almost died in the floods. And why did I get into that situation? So I'm going to talk about the where I landed up. So I was very much happy. You know, our office is at near Sakinaga, and I was going home with 3 other people from my from the family, and we were crossing intercontinental, and it was like we just went in there. We said water is bad, and we got a room. Suddenly it struck me ki why not go out and have some adventure? Why? No, nothing. And I stepped out, walk to Sakinaka, and then stupidly to find my cousin, who's the smartest in my family, which you don't need to think about, who was already in a safe place. And I get stuck and I almost died. I was just reflecting back on what I was thinking at that point of time. And it was that whole excitement and, you know, that adventure ka feeling chahiye. Not ignoring, again, I'm just focusing on the emotion. I chose to ignore all rational logic, knowing what was happening outside, rather than just choosing to stay safe. And it was just miraculous that I just got saved also, I think. We reached 100 crores of sale. I didn't find any happiness. I was like, okay, ho gaya, but khushi kyun nahi ho rahi hai? And then looking back, I realized that I was just driven by the number obsession. मुझे तो 100 करोड़ खाली नाम के लिए चाहिए थे. मुझे 100 करोड़ से कोई लगाव नहीं था. Then what happened was, when we went into build 100 crores, we didn't build operational excellence. हमने ground reality ठीक से नहीं की. Around that was the same time when I met my friend VC and my other friends in the Ascent cohort. And I'm like seeing these guys build businesses. First time I saw Bhaskar's MIS, I was like blown. I was like, ऐसे company चलती है. And तभी I was say he was doing PhD and I was in first standard. And I was like, and then I started, and then also I didn't realize that why did this happen to me. In the same year, we were in that one business which we had invested in. It's a packaging film in PVC for pharmaceuticals. And it just went down. We lost 30% of our business to competition, to alternate materials, and we were down 30% of the business. Our top line had reached 150 crores, I think, around then, but profits were like 1 crore or minus. In fact, honestly, I didn't even know. It was only when CFO Bridge came in, I started knowing what is happening. And then month on month, we started seeing things. But I was still troubled as to why. Then I was like, okay, now this is not looking good. Then also I tried to sell my company. So we got Yes Bank as an investment banker. But I was so frustrated at that point of time, because to do all that growth, we had built leverage. We didn't build a bottom line. We just managed a top line. We didn't build a team. So it was this whole tricky situation, and I was just clueless. I didn't have too many people to talk to. My trust group was there, but they were all struggling. Sabki lagi hui thi. But again, going forward, went ahead and did some round of expansions. Because I just wanted to just create something and exit the business. I didn't think of building succession. I didn't think of, at that time, building ki, you need to build hardcore operations on the ground. I was just obsessed with top line, bada banna hai. And then, because of lack of, and then that whole thing of being emotionally numb, I didn't tell people no, or I didn't put my foot down on things with people, with my own reportees, which I should have. So I was accepting mediocrity, I was accepting inefficiencies, which led to a fire at my plant in 2016. And it just gave us a major setback. we were just, and I was at that time completely leveraged. Personally, in the business, I think everything which could go wrong was going wrong at that point of time, and then the fire happened. We luckily managed to, and the reason it happened was, again, it was our maintenance head at that point of time. The whole attitude was chalta hai. And I used to live in fear. I was so driven by fear, fear of losing people, fear of not making money, etc., that it just kept me stopping me from taking hard decisions. But when it would come to risk, I would say ki I have to take the risk and I can just jump into this risk. So without thinking of these rationals why, I used to keep making decisions and jumping into them. Luckily, things started falling in place, and it was just before, in 2013-14, I did INSEAD, a year's leadership program. It started giving me some insights about a lot of things, which started helping me work on things in a smaller way. In 2016, I met Afroz, and I joined. I said this, I have to continuously do things beyond myself. I got into this because it used to make me go through guilt, and because I was not clear on my purpose, I was like, I'm in plastics and packaging, and look what's happening to the world, I used to get into self-blame, hold myself accountable, and which made me even push me to even actually figure out my own purpose for the business. Then around going a little forward, things started coming in place. We started turning around things. We started doing well. I think we just started building a very robust business along. And then I started my consciousness journey. And I'm able to now look back and reflect back as to what I was thinking when I made all these, because it was killing me. I was like, okay, I'm doing well. How does it guarantee me not to run into the same shit? And then that is when, over the period, the last 2 years, just picking on, and I think what I've just tried to do over this small chat is to try and put together a summary of what I was thinking during those moments, and I've just taken some of the bigger moments and as to made those decisions which led me to failure. And I think that's a little synopsis of my journey. I just believed in learning, so I'm doing the OPM program at Harvard. And I think I'm all over the place. I'm working with over 10 startups. It helps me learn, and so that's my little journey, and I thought I just wanted to make it different in a different way. Thank you.